Good evening, everyone. I would like to invite everybody in on this Tuesday night to Real Talk with Frank and Vanessa podcast. I pray that each and every person had a wonderful holiday on yesterday and enjoyed their long weekend. The weather's been pretty good, so that's a plus for us. I know we just decided to that I would get on tonight just to give you a message of encouragement um based off of what God has been giving us. If you could, anyone that's under the sound of my voice, we're going to allow Facebook to gather us a audience. But I would like to ask anyone that's under the sound of my voice to go ahead and share the video out so that you can help us get reach. Like the video, love the video, whatever you need to do to get this video out, we would truly appreciate it. I'm going to pause for a few minutes while I just go ahead and share the video out because I am trying to let Facebook indicate to others that I am on live tonight with Real Talk with Frank and Vanessa. Also, we have a YouTube channel that you can go and subscribe to. It's under Real Talk with Frank and Vanessa. So we also have the YouTube channel that if you like watching YouTube, that's another option that you do have. Go over there, you can subscribe to that channel and then hit the notification bells and it will notify you every time we go live. So that is some another option that you have. Also, invite somebody in. I think that the more we invite people in, the more it'll help grow this channel, help grow this community, and the more the word of God will be spreaded throughout the community. So, with that being said, I thank each and every one of you all for joining in with us on this live. I know it's you wasn't expecting it, but I just decided that I'll go ahead and jump on to let you all know that I am live. So I am trying to let Facebook gather me an audience before I start on this podcast. If you're on here with me tonight, go ahead and tell me how your day was today um, so that we'll know that you had a good day today. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So, as I indicated, I am letting Facebook draw a audience in because I don't want anyone to miss out on this word tonight. With that being said, I'm gonna allow some time because it is short notice, so you all wasn't expecting it. But once we gather in enough people, I'll go ahead and start the live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Once again, like I said, you can go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you would like, it's under Real Talk with Frank and Vanessa, and you could hit the notification bell and it'll notify you each and every time that we get on this live. So I appreciate each and every one of you. Give me 1 second. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Is there All right. Well, I just want to stop by just to encourage you all on tonight that we are on this live. If there's anyone under the sound of my voice, go ahead and put a comment in just to let me know you're there so I can acknowledge you. Like I said, once again, we also do have a YouTube channel that if you want to join in with me on the YouTube channel, it's under Real Talk with Frank and Vanessa. So we just came on tonight just to give a small word of encouragement. Um, Is there anybody? We just came on tonight to give a small word of encouragement, just to let you know. Tess, thank you so much for joining in with us on tonight. Tess, it's truly a blessing. I just stopped by. Tess says, Amen. We'll always follow God's plan. I just stopped by. Um, to jump on this live because we wasn't on yesterday, just to give a word of encouragement. If you would be so kind just to go ahead and share the video out, tag someone, let them know that we are on here tonight. Taz, how was your day today? I pray that it was blessed. And how was your holiday? I pray that your holiday went well as well. So I'm just getting on here just to do a little bit of encouraging on tonight, to just let you know, just to keep going with whatever God has placed on your heart. Um, Whatever God is pricking your heart to do, I want you to be encouraged with doing that. Um, God is saying, don't fret over the minor things. He's saying, keep going. Thank you, Tess. Yeah, it was because it was a holiday. That's good. He's saying, don't fret over the minor things. He's saying, keep going with whatever you're doing. He's saying that you're going to have challenges, changes, ups and downs, changes and turnarounds. But God says, as long as you have God's favor, God says sometimes you don't realize that. Thank you, Colleen, for joining in with us on tonight. You don't realize that it's God's favor that keeps you from day to day. As we go through the Bible, we see a lot of stories in the Bible where if it had not been for the hand of God, we don't know where we would have ended up. And God had favor on our life. So I just want to encourage you all on tonight just to keep going. Colleen, if you could go ahead and share out the video and tag some people in for me, I would appreciate it. God has favor on our lives. I was looking back over my life, and as I began to look back over my life, I began to thank God from where I been and where He has brought me to. I thank God for the journey that He has me on today. Um, if I look back over my life, I never seen myself doing what God had called me to do today. This wouldn't have been my journey. But I thank God that because He has placed me on this journey, I know that God has favor over my life. And sometimes you find yourself where it looks like things are so tight and it looks like it's a struggle to try to actually do everything that God is calling you to do, especially when you deal with life. Because as the young kids say, life really be lifing. And as you deal with life, God has been showing me no matter what, keep going. God says you can't stay in the same place forever. He says just keep going. And as I was going back looking over my life, and God had been telling me to just keep going. Thank you, Bird. Thank you so much. God had been telling me to just keep going. He told me to start being strategic in the things that I do. And I was praying and I was asking God to order my footsteps in certain areas. Latanya, thank you so much for joining in. I was praying and asking God to order my footsteps in certain areas of my life because I want to see something different. And God had begun to show me, God says, just keep going. God says, sometimes the journey that you on is going to be a journey that you may find yourself taking by yourself because everybody doesn't have the same journey as you. So God begin to tell me, he says, I'll give you everything that you need to keep going. I'll give you everything that you need to be encouraged. God says you have stopped too many times. He says, and every time you stop, you delay the plan and the purpose of your life because you don't see things the way I see them. God says, for I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of good and not of evil. So God is saying that I have a plan for you. You know, me and my daughter yesterday, we was having a conversation. And I began to tell her, I said, don't look at what you don't have and start to focus on how God keeps making a way. So as I begin to tell her to not focus, Charlene, thank you so much for joining in with me on tonight. Not focus on what you don't have. Just thank God for how he keeps making a way. Jeffrey, thank you so much for joining in with me. And as me and her had this conversation, we began to talk about how God's favor will carry you through some rough times. We began to talk about how God's favor would take you through some ups and downs, changes and turnarounds. And I began to tell my daughter on yesterday that favor isn't fair, but it's necessary. Why do I say that? It's necessary for where God is trying to take you to. And as I begin to just look back over my life, as I said, you know, I thank God for this journey that I'm on. And God begin to tell me, and I'm just telling everybody else, don't let the minor things become major things. God says you're going to have hurdles, you're going to have ups and downs, you're going to have changes and turnarounds. But God says, I promise you, if I made you a promise, you're going to, the promise has to be fulfilled. So as I begin to thank God on this journey that he is taking me on, y'all just sit back right now. And if we can look back from where we've been and from where we are now, that's enough to just tell God, I thank you. Because I know in my heart and I am encouraged that I am going somewhere. Thank you, Jeffrey, so much. I am going somewhere on today. It may not be easy for me to get there, but God says, if you trust me, he says, I promise you, you are going somewhere. I want to thank each and every person on last week who jumped in with me on TikTok. I truly appreciate each and every one of you all for jumping in with me on TikTok. That was like my first time ever doing TikTok, and I really appreciate the support that I had over there on TikTok. Um, Y'all, I want y'all to be encouraged. God has been saying you've been holding, you've held on as long as you can. He says some things you just got to let go of. And God has really been placing that on my heart that in order for you to enter into the calling or into the purpose and the plan that God has given you, God is saying, Linda, thank you so much for joining in. God is saying you got to let go of some things on today. And as I begin to ask God to order my steps on today, see, one thing you got to do, you got to believe something that you have never seen. And that's what we call faith, believing something that you have never seen. It's some things that I believe in my life that I'm about to tap into that I've never seen. But God said, just believe. Don't look at what's impossible because God says, with me, all things are possible. So God says, stop looking at what's impossible and look at the possibilities that I have for you. Don't look at the setbacks. God says, look forward to the come ups. He said, because setbacks will only keep you in that same place. God says, what I want you to start doing is, he says, I want you to look forward. I want you to look forward in your life. And as I begin to just talk to God, I just begin to thank him that the journey may not be easy, but it's doable. The journey to me, as I look at things differently, it's not impossible, but with God, everything is possible. So I just want to encourage each and every person who comes in with me on tonight, to trust God. Trust God for where you're trying to go. Trust God for where you want to be. Um, it's not easy. It's not. Today as I had said that I was going to get on this live, I found myself in a battle. And I found myself battling discouragement. And as I began to battle discouragement, I stopped and I started to pray to God. And I told God, I says, you have not brought me this far to leave me. God says, I want you to keep trusting me. He says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not to your own understanding. God says, eyes haven't seen, ears haven't heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man the things that God can do. I want y'all to keep trusting God for the possible. Don't dwell on the impossible, but trust God for the possible. I know now today that if God has called me to something, it is possible. I'm not looking for impossible no more. I've wrestled with the impossibilities of life. I've struggled with the rejections of life. I've struggled with the holdbacks, the setbacks, and the aggravation and frustration in life. I'm looking forward to this journey that God is about to take me on. And I know that this journey is not going to be easy, but I'm trusting God even when I find myself in the valley. So I want to encourage you all on tonight. I appreciate each and every one of you all that joined in with us on this, well, with me on this podcast. And I thank each and every one of you all who takes the time out of your day, that when we do come on, you all join in with us, you subscribe to the channel. Y'all, I promise y'all, God has shown me a vision. And as I've been talking to God about this vision, God says, trust me and not the impossible. God says, stop looking at the brick walls that's in your face. God says, I'll make a way out of no way. God says, trust that if I'm for you, I'm more than the world against you, that the world cannot do anything with you. So I thank you all on tonight. I really appreciate each and every one of you all. We didn't get on yesterday because it was a holiday, so we felt like we'll just take a break out for the holiday. But I appreciate each and every one of you all. Like I said, that anytime we jump on, that y'all jump on with us tonight. Um, I got more to come. We got more things that's gonna come. But I did just want to encourage y'all to not look at the impossibilities of life. Even though I'm gonna tell you something, life can get difficult. It really can. But I'm gonna trust God like I did in the difficult times. And don't stop trusting God just because it looks like the storm has passed by, because we know storms can pass by and come back again. So with that being said, I thank each and every one of you all on tonight. I really appreciate you all jumping on here. I just want to stop by to give you all some words of encouragement. I'm going to try to maybe do TikTok one day this week. I'll put out a notification that I'm going to be on TikTok so y'all can hang out there with me. I'm trying to build that channel up, but that's all I'll stop by to say. It's just be encouraged. And I thank you all for jumping in on tonight. I didn't want to keep you that long. And with that being said, you all be blessed.
And that brings us to the end of another episode of Real Talk with Frank and Vanessa. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of our incredible community. Frank and Vanessa truly appreciate each and every one of you who has been supporting them on this journey. Your engagement, feedback, and love mean the world to them. Before they go, they want to give a special shout out to their amazing supporters. Your generosity keeps the conversations flowing and the episodes coming. If you enjoy what you hear and want to contribute to the continued success of Real Talk, Consider making a donation. Every contribution, big or small, goes a long way in helping them bring you more thought-provoking content. You can show your support by sending your donations to their Cash App at $VANLUC. That's VANLUC. And for those using Zelle, you can contribute to loveandtruth034@gmail.com. Your support allows them to invest in better equipment, bring on exciting guests, and continue to deliver the real and unfiltered conversations you love. They're grateful for each contribution,